Uh, every single time we've got to move beyond this. Hello, Catholic Controversy here. And over the weekend, unfortunately, there were two more mass shootings. One of them hits a little close to home for me, but once again, without fail, you got people on all sorts of different political spectrums trying to figure out the root cause, the single point of failure. Was it all the guns that we have in our society? Was it the violent video games and violent media? Was it the breakdown of the family unit? Was it mental health? Was it all sorts of different things? And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you got people refuting it, saying, no, I play violent video games and I'm not a shooter. I own multiple guns and I'm not a shooter. I follow Donald Trump and I'm not a shooter. I was raised by a single mother and I'm not a shooter. I work in the field of clinical psychology and I know multiple people with bipolar depression and schizophrenia, and they're not risks for anyone but themselves. And I'm just reminded of a geometric principle. Geometry class. Maybe you remember it. Shapes, squares, circles, rectangles, triangles. And there's one principle. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. What do I mean by that? Well, in geometry, a rectangle is defined as a shape with four sides that meet at right angles. It has four right angles and four sides. What is a square? A square is a shape with four equal sides and four right angles. All sides on the square are exactly the same length, and it has four right angles. By that definition, every single square is a rectangle, but not every single rectangle is a square. Because rectangles can have very long sides with very short sides, but so long as they have those right angles, they are rectangles. But unless they have the four equal sides, they're not squares. Same thing with the rhombus. A rhombus is a shape that has four equal sides that are parallel to each other, but not necessarily right angles. The square has four equal sides and four right angles. By that definition, all squares are rhombuses, but not all rhombuses are squares. You get what I'm saying? Yes. All these mass murderers, these mass shooter people, monsters, they have things in common. They have they definitely have mental health problems. Mentally well people do not just start killing people. A lot of these mass shooters have different rhetorics that they listen to. Mass shooters, by definition of shooting, use guns. Some they attained legally, some they attained illegally. There's a lot of different factors that factor into this, but they're not all the root cause. None of them are the root cause. It's all the tiny little factors that come together. Because when you start trying to attack these root causes, you are attacking the rectangles. You are attacking the rhombuses. But what you really need to attack are the squares. Because it is all of those factors coming together that cause the mass shooters. It's not that individual factor. You can't just say that all shapes that come at right angles, four right angles, are rectangles, because they're not. You're going to be classifying a lot of rectangles as squares if they don't have the four right equal sides. And that's what happens when you try to do these broad root causes, because you're going to be catching a lot of rectangles in your search for the square. You're going to be catching a lot of rhombi in your search for the square. Let that thing sink for a little bit. This has been Catholic Controversy, signing off. May God bless you.